Hello, folks. Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here for another Pauper video. The first one went really well. People seemed really excited about the content. So donation leagues are absolutely on the table for Pauper now, and expect to see this format on the channel from time to time. Today's video is sponsored by Top Deck, and we'll take a look at them after round one. If you're looking for a site to kind of host your collection or put up deck lists on, please consider them. All right, so in case you're not familiar with Pauper at all, this is a format where only commons are legal. And today we're going to be playing with kind of a fringe deck list. We're going to be playing with mono black rats. So this is very much a discard and draw based deck. We are going to use cards like Chittering Rats and Liliana's Spectre that effectively cause our opponent to discard a card. And then we are going to use cards like Phyrexian Rager, and then Thorn of the Black Rose, which gives us the Monarch, in order to draw cards. So we are going to look to play this value-oriented game. You know, maybe we can trade Chittering Rats for a body and then make our opponent discard a card. And we have Chainer's Edict, which is an edict that also has flashback for 7. And anytime you have a card with like flashback, or anytime you have a free card in Pauper, it's a little bit better than it looks on the surface. You might go, you're not going to get to 7 mana to flash that back. Oh, some of these games get really grindy. There's a lot of cards here that like my legacy-oriented folks might not recognize. We have things like Defile, which is an increasingly strong removal spell as the game goes on. There's Cry of Contrition, which is a discard spell with Haunt. So essentially, you have this card haunt a creature when it resolves, and then if that creature goes to the graveyard, you get to cast this again. Or, well, I guess more accurately, target player discards a card again. You get the effect a second time. And there's some cute combos in this deck. We have Augur of Skulls, which is kind of like a baby Hymn to Turok at common level. And you can sacrifice this during your upkeep to make your opponent discard 2 cards. And then you can do something like bring it back with on an earth for some sick amounts of value. Ultimately, our finisher in this deck is Grey Merchant of Asphodel. Each opponent loses X life and you gain X life, which is your devotion to black. So this starts out kind of small and insignificant, but as the game drags on, which is kind of what you're hoping to do as you like draw cards and bury your opponents and stuff, this is going to ramp up a lot. And in the sideboard, we have Kuumba's Witches, sort of a strange pinger that can really boost our devotion count. I really like a lot of things about this deck list because this is very similar to something that I was playing a few years ago. There's some things here that are kind of new to the deck. So, for example, Witch's Cottage allows you to put a creature back on top of your library and kind of fix your draws. So you can do something sick like wipe the board with Crypt Rats, put it back on top of your library, and then like do it again in the case that your opponent has something particularly nuts going on. Another really neat combo that's not immediately obvious is that there is an Okiba Gang Shinobi in the sideboard. So you can reuse the triggers on these ETB creatures. You can do something like Grey Merchant, let's say you drain your opponent for like 5, attack with Grey Merchant the next turn, ninjutsu it back to your hand, and then like drain your opponent again. I'm really excited to see this deck in action. The one thing I'll say ahead of time is I just don't think we can beat Affinity with this deck. Just like in terms of color pie, the black color is not good at dealing with artifacts. Like we can deal with the artifact creatures, but as far as any like value-oriented artifacts themselves, I can't really touch those. I might be wrong, but I think this is going to be competitive against things that aren't in Affinity, because Affinity is just like the best deck, and we're just kind of bad at dealing with them. Anyway, but before we get started here, if you're new, please consider subscribing, and if you're a regular, throw me a like or a comment. Those are the things that support my content for free and don't cost you anything. If you end up wanting to try out this deck or donate for a Pauper League, that information is available in the video description. Let's battle. Okay, I don't have super good early plays, but I have a lot of draws towards early plays, so I think I'm just going to be fine with that and keep this hand. All right, Shambling Ghast. Okay. So when it dies, creature gets -1, or you make a creature token. Sure, that's fine. I'll probably just like play the Witch's Cottage tapped on turn 1. My Crypt Rats and Pestilence should be pretty good at wiping the field of multiple creatures. It's just going to be a question of like how much damage do I take prior to turn 3 when I can like get my stuff going. Okay. So I've seen this deck before. This deck has like I think about 8 different ways to sacrifice its own creatures for value. My Chainer's Edict is a little awkward here. Like, I'll either just take 2 or give my opponent a treasure, and the treasure can get them an idiot. Is that worth it for me? I don't know if that's worth it for me. I don't know. Each one of these can represent a draw 2, though. Oh, I'm just going to play the Bajuka Bog here. Like, I have Haymakers like Crypt Rats and Pestilence and Thorn of the Black Rose. I just need to get to the point where I can actually use them. I'm not there yet. I think there's just too much of a risk in, like, trying to use... Oh, wow. Didn't realize Carrion... Oh, jeez. This will get gross fast. I'll take 2 here and go to 17. And then that Carrion Feeder can absolutely go ham. Alright, do I want to deny a draw or draw 1 card of my own? I think I want to draw 1 card of my own. Like, I want to hit more land drops. Okay, that's not a land drop, but that's something that'll help. My opponent can sacrifice the Perilous Myr to get my Rager out of the way and grow Carrion Feeder. That's fine. Then we'll kind of see what their follow-up is. I don't know this one. Okay. Sacrifice a creature, each opponent loses a life, and you gain a life. Dope. Opponent's got some sweet synergy going on. I'm trying to get to this situation where I can just play out this Crypt Rats without, like, my opponent just sacrificing this and kill it. Not really there yet. I'll just play some rats. Alright, so they send a card back to the top of their library, and I'm kind of stuck here. Unfortunately. This is so much damage. I can block the 1/1 and, like, effectively just trade with it. Or I can block the Carrion Feeder and force a sacrifice. I guess I block more damage if I do it this way. I'm in a situation where, like, I have the cards that I need to win, but I think I'm going to get overrun before I can use them. I don't know. Maybe I needed to just block the Shambling Ghoul and just so I can, like, tap out, play Crypt Rats. Like, now I left myself in this situation where, like, this thing is still around. I can just draw a land for Pestilence, and that would be that. Yeah, I think that was a pretty costly mistake. I should have just blocked this and taken a couple more points of damage. Although, like, my life total is now getting low enough since I'm missing on land drops that I can't really just activate the Crypt Rats for 3. Yeah, I think I just got overrun here. Like, I play this, trades with this, takes 6, and yeah, and then I can't Crypt Rats for X equals 3. Yeah, I think I just got overrun here. Let's try to figure out something in sideboarding. The Kuumba's Witches as pingers and things that increase my devotion are fine. Sacrificing a creature is medium. This is exile. It does. It's a lot of damage, but it's strong. I can consider this too. I have 7 cards that I can consider. I essentially want a lot of removal. How do I feel about Cry of Contrition? My opponent has a bunch of draw 2s in their deck, but it is one of my early plays. How do I feel about Augur of Skulls just as something that regenerates? Because its body is not fantastic. I think I'd rather have the Kuumba's Witches in the 2-drop slot. Let's get those in there. And then, like, this will help me deal with, like, Carrion Feeders and such. Am I just supposed to fully play to the board? Do something like this? This would be 59. I'd have to either keep 1 Augur of Skulls or something. Play a Cram Session, too. I could also just, like, play a Cry of Contrition just as something that is more or less always a 1-for-1. All I need to do is get to the point where, like, my Grey Merchants and Pestilences and such are active, and I think I win. I don't know about this. Like, it helps me get to that mid-game. Play 1 Augur of Skulls as a regenerator. I'm gonna keep this. I think as long as I get to that third land drop and I get to like play the Ragers, start digging deeper, I'm okay. Like I have 2 board wipe cards in hand. I have something that can ping and take care of smaller threats as well. This is just going to be a land go situation. And we'll see what my opponent can do here. Okay, dies, get squirrels. Sure. Yeah, like that's the sort of thing that I very much just have covered right now. All right, I've got my witches. They got new art, by the way, which I quite like. The old art was like very much a caricature. All right. Augur of Skulls, huh? Can't play Crypt Rats this turn, so like I am playing Augur of Skulls. Don't think I'm pinging yet. But honestly, this is kind of gross. So this Carrion Feeder gets to like sacrifice a creature, sacrifice a creature, sacrifice a creature, sacrifice a creature, attack for 5. And it's also, I need to set a stop for this on my turn because of Augur of Skulls. I might just have to like hold up the ability to regenerate this thing, honestly. Okay, so this is going to be, okay, it's multiple creatures coming in. I'm going to go ahead and block here. I could ping this in response and force a sacrifice here, but it ends up being the same amount of damage. Need to take this out of play. This is super awkward. Like, I have one of my sideboard cards that's theoretically good, but this Carrion Feeder has just totally invalidated it here. Okay, there's follow-up. Oh. Yeah. Okay. So I can... Wow. So I can ping one of these things and make it so that Carrion Feeder is the only creature in play. Opponent tapped and untapped a swamp. I wonder if that means I have a village rights. To make edicts better, I'm going to go ahead and attempt to ping that. Although this can hit my own augur. Okay, they did have the other village rights. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Never mind. Everything great. So this is only a 2/2 because of how my opponent played. So that means that I can just defile this. It means the rest of my turn kind of sucks, but I'm not dealing with an unbeatable 5/5 now anymore. Like, my opponent has 6 cards in hand, and my opponent is going to get to use their mana in an efficient way that I can't really do right now. I could trade Kulimbaj Witches for Perilous Mirror, and then make it so that Carrion Feeder doesn't get real value. Not excited about it, but I think it's happening. So then Perilous Mirror dies, and they can point the 2 damage right here. But I think I just need to keep my opponent from building up an impressive board. Another Kulimbaj Witches. That's not bad. I think I need to hit land drops, though. Like, I have some absolute bangers in my hand. I just need them to actually occur. Oh, that's really good, too. If my opponent manages to make a large Carrion Feeder that I just, like, can't deal with, like, that answers it. Okay, what is this? Sacrifice another creature, draw a card, then transform it into a 4/4. Okay, that's super neat. All right, I do not need to have this stop currently. All right, what am I doing for my turn? I really want to draw cards, but I can't. I think since I have the Pestilence, I could just play out Crypt Rats and just, like, threaten to deal 1 damage to everything. Or 2 damage, rather. Make Carrion Feeder worse. I could also just, like, play Kulimbaj Witches. I think I'm going to go ahead and play this out. Wonder if my land count in this deck is high enough. I don't know what it is off the top of my head. What was that? Oh, okay, they just straight up turned it into a 4/4. That's fine. Do I just want to take a hit here? Or do I just want to, like, do a chump block and then Ashes to Ashes that? The Ashes to Ashes is really only good if they play another creature. I hope they do. I think I'll chump. I can also just, like, Crypt Rat, steal 4 to everything, and then wipe that as well. Okay. This is going to enter tapped, isn't it? It is. This is not a swamp. This is the cost of playing non-basic lands in your deck. So I can just wipe this next turn with my witches. This has to target 2 things. So if I want to cast this here, it Costs me quite a bit. Yeah, I'm just kind of tripping over my mana in these games. So I can Ashes to Ashes both of these creatures, take out both of them, and just take a trade that's very bad for me. Or I can basically do nothing with my turn. Like, if I play the Kumbaj Witches, I'm just going to wipe them. I guess I'll take my attack first. This is just extremely awkward for me, and if my opponent has, like, a Village Rites effect, this is so bad. I cannot emphasize enough how bad. Yeah. Can I sacrifice this for 0? I can sacrifice this for 0 and gain 5 life. Sure. That's okay. All right, it's not sacrifice as part of a cost. It's the damage. JK. Okay, where did that come from? Rotten Reunion. Exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard. Yuck. Yeah, so maybe I just needed to, like, cut my expensive stuff from the deck, because I'm just not getting to a high enough mana total where these cards are relevant. Unfortunately. Okay. Oh, hold on. Are these one-turn zombies? Okay, it can't block when it attacks. Sacrifice it at the end of combat. Sure. Alright. I think I need to play defensively for a turn, and then maybe try to pull ahead using the Monarch mechanic. So, I'm going to play 2 blockers, and then play a Thorn of the Black Rose next turn. And then kind of hope that I can start drawing cards in a way that's meaningful. Do not really want an Augur of Skulls. I'll play this. Say no to that. Play a Thorn of the Black Rose. I become the Monarch. Then hopefully I can now put myself in a situation where it's hard for my opponent to come back. Like, I need like a Gray Merchant. Like, 1 Gray Merchant trigger so that I can start using my life total very aggressively with things like Kumbaj Witches and Pestilence is very good. Yeah. I will do one of these. Sign in Blood myself. By the way, this is target player, so this can be used as a burn spell when we get a little bit later in the game. Okay. I mean, there it is. I can play that next turn. I guess I will play out this Pestilence. I don't really want to Chainer's Edict right now. But this Pestilence is just going to add to my devotion count. Like, that's what it's here for right now. And then I've got, what, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I'll just drain for 9 with a Gray Merchant, and then hopefully draw a second Gray Merchant. All right, Mortician. That is a rare! That is a rare. What? This rare got downshifted to common? What the fuck? I think I should have probably pinged that, just by the way. Alright, so let's play my Gray Merchant. Okay, my opponent's done with me. This is insane. If you follow Pauper closely, please let me know when this got downshifted to common. Like, was this a Modern Horizons 2 thing, or what? It's so good. I want to play the opponent's deck. Okay, I think I'm going to call what I did good. I still have mixed feelings on Cries of Contrition. I can haunt my opponent's stuff, and then, like, maybe they end up discarding quite a bit, but they have all these draw 2s. Am I supposed to, like, mulligan just because I need more land than this? I think I am. Just kind of like, feast or famine, huh? Alright. I mean, I'll keep it. But I'm very much in danger of getting run over early. Yeah, opponent's deck has absolutely sick value. I love it. Just makes my removal spells so much worse, and even makes my sweepers worse in some ways. Okay. Yeah, that's horrifying. So take 1 here, and Carrion Feeder makes my removal spells worse. I think I have to do this, despite the fact that, like, my life total is in jeopardy pretty quickly. The thing that makes squirrels here would be bad for me. Yeah. This is spooky. I can start playing the value-oriented game, though. Alright. Rats or Rager? I think I play Rats, because, like, my opponent is stuck on 1 land. I just want to like make it so that they don't draw a land for turn. Like that's what Chittering Rats is good at. It's kind of like brainstorm blocking your opponent in like a very baby way for those of you who are legacy players. Okay, looks like we're going to combat. So what, if anything, do I block? If I block the Serrated Scorpion, it can just trade with Chittering Rats in combat after it dies. But I think my opponent would be more likely to just block it. If I block Mortician Beetle, my opponent could sacrifice Serrated Scorpion, turn it into a 2/2, and we trade. I also could block Carrion here. Well, okay, so any way I do this, if my opponent doesn't like what I block, they just sacrifice the Serrated Scorpions and deal 2. So do I just force that by blocking the Carrion Feeder? I think I block their thing that allows them to sacrifice here. This potentially saves me 3 damage this turn. Yeah. The Serrated Scorpions... Oh, this is 2 damage to each opponent. I'm sorry. Not 2 damage to any target. Okay. Okay, so then they used Rotted Reunion to make a thing and sacrifice it. Okay. That was cool. Also just horrifying, though. Opponent has large creatures quite quickly. I can play a Gray Merchant next turn. But I think I'm just getting run over here. So I take 6 here, go to 3. And I can go back to 6 by playing Gray Merchant and have something that can profitably block. I think that's okay. I think my opponent's going to kill me on 1 land just before I get established. Ooh. Do I do that instead? I think I do that instead. So I either get rid of their sacrifice outlet and leave them with 1 big, dumb, large creature, or I leave them with 2 big, dumb, large creatures and have to chump block anyway. Yeah, let's do this. Like, this has a flashback of 2, so this doesn't just save them immediately. Alright, so they are opting to make the largest possible creature here. So that I'm not just dead to a removal spell, I am going to play another Phyrexian Rager. The big question for me will be, oh, that's so good. The big question for me will be, like, am I chumping or am I trying to trade in combat? It's complicated by the fact that this is like a -6 card next turn. If my opponent uses their trick to deal with these in combat, I think I'm good with that. Then I'll still clear the board. I'll gain a little bit less life, but then, like, my opponent will be tapped out. They won't be able to, like, village rights or anything. And if I successfully make this trade and the board's clear and I get to start just playing Gray Merchants and shit, I think that's totally good for me. Right, what are we dealing with here? A Flying Death Toucher. Beautiful. Alright. Now I'm on land 6. I'll defile that at sorcery speed. I'm only going to get 2 life out of this Gray Merchant, but I think I'm fine with that. I'll just put myself out of, like, range of random things like Sign in Blood. And then, like, I have an Edict chilling in the graveyard. I have another, like, easy 1-mana removal spell. Yeah, that's fine. Chittering Rats is great. Am I willing to Rager? I think I'm willing to Rager. I'm not in any immediate danger. Oh, beautiful. Okay, I think we're gonna win this one. Like, I'm gonna Chittering Rats again. Like, once again, keeping my opponent from drawing a land. Can I attack with this Gray Merchant? I think I can attack with this Gray Merchant. I think I'm in, like, the game's not locked up, but my opponent's in a bad spot. Okay. Yeah. I want to put another Rager on top of my deck. I want to redraw a Rager. I really just want more removal spells. Rager is kind of like a removal spell. I don't think I'm going to put it on top of my deck. Okay, so I do have... I'd be fine drawing a Chittering Rats, though. Actually, just keeping my opponent from getting deeper. Alright, so I'll play another Gray Merchant. Okay, yeah, opponent is done with me. Holy moly, I felt like I was on, like, the wrong end of the equation for almost that entire match. And then, like, we got our stuff going, and it was so incredibly strong. I think if my opponent had a second land this game, I would have just gotten overrun. GG's. Ugh. Hello, folks. This video was brought to you by Top Decked. I'm going to take a look at one of their features real quick. That's kind of new. So if you have a deck list on here, you can click on the Tools button, and then you can click on the Deck History button. So if you're someone who's constantly fidgeting with the same 75 and you want to track changes, you can go back and you can look at the changes that you have made over time, and you can even revert back to previous versions, like you can see here. So consider checking out Top Deck if you really enjoy futzing with your deck list and you want to keep track of how it's changing over time. All right, I will keep this opening hand here. I think I have to just play this Witch's Cottage tapped on turn 1. I feel like there's too many copies of Witch's Cottage in this deck, just kind of like as an outside eye. Like, when you draw multiple copies of it, it's pretty bad. All right, so we are playing against Affinity, and this is a deck that I don't think that I am going to be good against, but I'll get a chance to kind of test that theory in live time. I just think they're going to have so much value that I'm going to have a hard time keeping up. Although, some stuff like this might do some serious work. So the way that I'm going to win this game is by draining my opponent with a Gray Merchant in all likelihood. So that makes me want to increase my devotion count as quickly as possible. That said, I also think I need to keep hitting land drops just every turn, so I'm going to go ahead and play Phyrexian Rager here. Yeah, and see, like, this is exactly what I'm talking. Oh, wait, hold on. This also counts as a swamp. Okay, maybe it's not as bad as I think, but, like, this still just, like, oh, not Affinity? Okay, it's something else. Maybe some artifact-oriented value decks, but still, like, ETB tapped for the first couple turns is rough. I'm always playing Witch's Cottage. I've got 4 mana to work with. I can just Chainer's Edict and Augur of Souls. Or, and I think it's time to reset this stop. I think I'm going to go a value-oriented route here. No, so I need to play this first. And then I will Cry of Contrition. So this is going to force my opponent to draw a card. What is this? Oh, a fog. Okay. So I'm going to haunt my own Augur of Skulls, and I intend on sacrificing that pretty quickly. You know, I don't know what my opponent is doing. I'm just going to kill that thing and get in there for some damage. I don't know if there's other things that are going to be more important for me to remove, but like I have 2 other removal spells in hand. Okay, so is my opponent just like straight up a weird Turbo Fog-esque deck? Because it kind of seems like that's what's happening. All right, so I'm going to sacrifice this. You discard 2 cards, and we're going to turn it into 3 cards with Cry of Contrition. Delicious. Okay, yeah, my opponent is playing some sort of like Turbo Fog Pauper variant. Oh, they discarded the Galvanic Blast as well. Cool. Monarch time? Feels like Monarch time already. Which is weird, but I think it's fine. Like, I'll get my value and see what my opponent can do about this. Alright, when this enters the battlefield, return target instant or sorcery from your graveyard to hand. So what are you going to get back? The Galvanic Blast? Yeah, you're going to get back the Galvanic Blast. Okay, that's fine. Ah, good stuff. Do I need to... I don't really need to muck with your graveyard yet. So what's my plan? I have 5 mana to work with this turn. I don't think I need a Crypt Rats in play yet. Let's do this. Play my Edict now. Play the Chittering Rats. And you put a card on top. I could probably pretty safely attack in for 2 points of damage here. I'm not going to. Like, I think as long as I don't lose the Monarch, I'm not losing this game. Like, my opponent's got nice value-oriented cards. Oh! Yeah, speak of the devil. Alright. So the Monarch subgame in full heat here. Okay. I can play Crypt Rats. Activate it for X is 1. Destroying Ardent Elementalist. Crash in, get the Monarch back. Get attacked back by Palace Sentinels. Unless I play a post-combat Augur of Skulls and just chump block with it, and then hope to draw a land between my 2 draws, do Flashback Chainer's Edict and take out Palace Sentinels. Alternatively, I can give my opponent 1 card and just set myself up to just Alpha Strike through it next turn. No, I think this whole Monarch thing is so important that I just take this card now. The X4 butt here is a little rough. But I think I'm okay, like, using my cards in this fashion. The big thing that it does that's awkward for me is it lowers my devotion count. I think that's okay at the end of the day. Okay, yeah. So now I can just chump block here on Palace Sentinels and then do 7 mana Chainer's Edict flashback. Like I planned on doing. I'm good with that. This just becomes awkward if my opponent has another Palace Sentinels. Oh my god. Alright, well, I didn't know that was coming. Yeah. So now, I'll play this Witch's Cottage, and I'll put my Thorn of the Black Rose back on top of my library. Absolutely use this ability. 7 mana, target you, Chainer's Edict. That sacrifices this. Oh, yeah, that's a common. Alright. So my opponent can rebound that. So I guess I need to dodge one of my opponent's 2 cards being Counterspell here. Got 7 mana, so I can already do all my stuff. So I guess I'm just going to start with the Bojuka Bog here. My opponent knows I have this. Alright, do you have it? No. Alright, I'm the Monarch. I'll Chittering Rats one of your cards back to the top of your library. Alright, I need like a, what is it, a Defile? I need to just take that body off the battlefield so that my opponent can't, like, find a new Ephemerate. Oh, neat. Okay, so they're going to destroy their artifact lands in order to ramp towards things like Palace Sentinels. That's super cool. Right, what is this? Okay, Seagate Oracle. Alright, was it an Ephemerate? It was not an Ephemerate. Nice. Rager's cool. Yeah, now I just need to, like, get towards drawing anything, really. I don't think I actually want to attack yet. Alright, that will be very good. It's a sorcery, so I have to, like, kind of chill for a turn. What is this? Alright. So apparently we are both just going to play this, like, really long, drawn-out game of sick value. This is a flyer, notably. Order? Question mark, question mark, question mark. I think I'll start with the Cry of Contrition. Right, that's a land. I'm going to put this on the Muldrifter, because I very much want to kill that this turn if I draw a removal spell. I'll Sign in Blood myself. Shit. Alright. So, it's going to be kind of up to top card of my library here. Do I want to attack with Thorn of the Black Rose? I don't think the 1 point of damage matters as much as having a Death Toucher for later does. The other thing I can do is I can, like, lose the Monarch fight and just eventually just draw a Grey Merchant or 2 and dome my opponent that way. The fog effects are pretty awkward for me here, in that, like, I might have to make some awkward attacks in order to do what I want to do. Hey, it's Grey Merchant. That's great for me. That's also great for me. Alright. So I will go ahead and Edict you. I will play this. And honestly, I think I just send it. Okay, yep. Alright, opponent is done with me. That was stressful. So we're playing against another grindy deck that has some graveyard-based value and some number of fogs. The Ephemerates make my removal spells a little awkward. I absolutely want this. I absolutely want this. I have to respect, like, an X4 but my removal spells are kind of medium, otherwise. I can consider this, I think. Sideboarding is super weird here, because, like, I need to respect removing small creatures so I can attack in and become the Monarch. I also have to respect my discard, because their more expensive cards are really good. I think I'm going to shave the Unearth as a starting point. for the Thorn of the Black Rose. I think there's a lot of times where I'm losing the Monarch subgame, where I just, like, essentially just fireball my opponent to death with, like, Pestilence and Crypt Rats and such. Ukiba Gang Shinobi as a way to reuse my Grey Merchants and Thorns seems really important. Bonder's Ornament is so incredibly slow, but quite good for the times where I'm behind. I think I'm going to keep all my early discard because keeping my opponent off of their 4-drops is really important. And then I don't know, like, maybe I'm overvaluing some of these, like, board wipe cards, and, like, a way that I'm going to win is just resolving a Grey Merchant. So maybe I go down on these. Do I want a Crypt Rats or a Pestilence? I think I want the Pestilence. But also, actually, shit. I want to play Liliana's Spectre. I shouldn't have boarded out a Crypt Rats or a Chittering Rats. But I want to play Liliana's Spectre because it flies, and that's super relevant for the Monarch fight and blocking Will Drifters. I'm going to keep this. There's a world where I'm not actually supposed to cast this Cry of Contrition on turn 1. And I'm supposed to, like, try to use it with Augur of Skulls for the combo. I don't think I'm going to do that. I think my mana efficiency matters too much. And, like, the timing's awkward. I'm just going to, like, take this, play Augur of Skulls on 2, treat it as a discard 2, then play Sign in Blood, and work towards something meaningful in some way. Holy preordained, Batman. Okay. Alright. Oh, wow. Okay. Operation just bury my opponent in cards is a go. So, oh, they have a Bonder's Ornament as well. They have gotten the memo. Alright, so you discard 2. Witch's Cottage. Okay. I am not going to want to bring back Augurs against Bonder's Ornament. I think I'm just going to play this one tapped this turn and play a new Augur of Skulls. So the scary thing here is that if my opponent just, like, plays a Monarch card right here, it's very awkward for me. What are we dealing with? Okay. It's a draw 2. I mean, that offsets my Augur of Skulls. Sure. Oh, damn, this is a mana rock, too. I just, like, conceptually did not take that part in. Card's even better than I thought it was. Alright, let's draw some cards. Isn't actually all that great here. I'm very much in danger of falling behind. Like, I have more cards, but my opponent has, like, a card advantage source that I don't. Yeah. Fine. I wonder who, like, where the advantage meter is at right now. Alright. Am I playing a low-value Grey Merchant just to get it in play? I think so. I think I need to be able to threaten the Monarch if my opponent acquires that. I think that's just so incredibly important. I think my opponent's currently favored. Oh, fuck. Ephemerate. Fuck. Yeah, so this is a mana of any color, so my opponent just has, like, protection from removal spells up. They can also just take a raw draw 2 here. That is even better than that. They'll get to do it again next turn. Yeah, I think this one has slipped away. I've been wrong before, so, like, I'm going to play this out, but life's bad. So I'll fire off the Edict, which probably gets rid of Augur of Bolas. And I'll Bojuka Bog my opponent's stuff away. But unfortunately, that's the end of my turn, and I'm kind of out of gas. And my opponent has so much remaining in the tank. My discard spells did just, like, not keep up with what my opponent was doing here. Yeah. Like, they're up to 6 cards. They can draw a 7th card here. Alright, yeah. So, my board's empty. My opponent's not attacking for very much, but, like, I don't even have any devotion going here. Alright, so take a card. Don't take a card? Wow. Okay. How juiced is your hand? Wow. Just super surprised. Like, Counterspell is a premium card. Like, unless they have multiple counterspells in hand. Okay. Yeah. Oh, they're just gonna return it with Ardent Elementalist. Alright. Alright. Am I dead? Feel dead. I don't know. I guess my opponent could, like, play poorly with the counter spells, and then I get a chance to... Okay, no, they're playing more conservatively now. I guess they just knew they had another one coming. I don't know. Maybe I should just concede here. I don't feel like I'm coming back from this. Like, it's 4 damage a turn. I know my opponent has counterspell. Like, I'm running on empty. They can still draw a card every turn. What is this? Late to dinner. Return target creature from the graveyard to the battlefield. Make a food. Angel Song is a fog. I'm gonna take 1 draw step here. Yeah, alright. Let's pack it in and revisit my sideboarding. I want this Chittering Rats back in here because I think my devotion count matters. I really want my discard stuff for the, like, making it less likely that my opponent can get to a high land count to do their thing. But once my opponent gets going, drawing these discard spells in the mid to late game feels very bad. Umbaj Witches doesn't ping and kill everything. It pings and kills some stuff. Like, do I need to go back on Operation Fireball here? Maybe I do. Maybe Cry of Contrition doesn't get its value enough of the time. Maybe I junk that. I can also play Spell Bombs. Like, I have a lot of ability to grind, but I think my opponent grinds better. I'm gonna get this Unearth back in here. Gone down on discard. I've kept the discard that's attached to bodies. This is fine. Yeah. IDK. Sure. Alright, so I'll start here. I'll either get a Galvanic Blast out of it, or I will actually get 2 cards. Just the... This doesn't feel great. Oh, and a Braid. That's new. Sure. Do my draw 2. Just really looking to hit more lands. Okay, yes, fantastic. So I will defile something if I get the chance to defile something. Okay, they're ramping. That's really good with these artifact lands. I absolutely respect the hell out of that. I want a play this turn. I just, like, anything with black pips. Okay. Please don't play a Monarch card here. I'm so soft to it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Feels like Muldrifter. I'm just going to knock it out so that I don't have to deal with Ephemerate. Like, that's happening at some point anyway. I don't want an Augur of Skulls. I guess I'll just make my land drop and start the draining. I really wanted just like a Chittering Rats or something to help bridge me to the mid game here, but I think I'm so incredibly afraid of the Monarch. I just think I have to get stuff in play. All right, are you taking... All right, you are taking in a Braid. That's fine. 9 in Blood is good. I have 6 mana this turn. I don't think I want to play a Grey Merchant. I think I'm going to start with the Sign in Blood, see if it gets counterspelled. Does not. Ooh, that's quite good. Thorn of the Black Rose immediately. It'll get abraded, and then I'll have just Grey Merchant in play. Maybe I wait a turn on that. I'm going to cast a Chainer's Edict instead. Lose focus. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 2. With Replicate. Interesting. No. But my opponent wanted to protect that body, which may mean that there's like some Ephemerate stuff going on. Accordingly, I think I'll just take that body out of the way. Bojuka Bog them. Hit in for 2. And then do Thorn of the Black Rose next turn. See what my opponent has to say. Okay, they're ramping again. This is stressful. Okay. Yep. Okay. I've made it back to my turn. 4, 5, 6, 7. Like, now I know I have a counter spell that I have to worry about. So do I want to make my opponent discard first? No. I think I just play this now. See if it resolves. If it doesn't, I just Witch's Cottage it back to the top of my library. Yes. Witch's Cottage. Put it back on top of my library. Yes. Then play Liliana's Spectre. Force my opponent to discard. Okay, a Dispel is gone. That's fine. don't have that many instants at the end of the day. I have a lot of sorceries. Okay, that's fine. So, am I playing Gray Merchant or Thorn here? I think I play Thorn. Like, play it before my opponent has, like, a Mull Drifter. Cycle and Angel Song, so they're trying to find a counter spell. Okay. So they're blinking, they're trying their damnedest to find that counter spell. Okay, they succeeded. That's fine. Or this Gray Merchant attack doesn't actually do anything, does it? Yeah, so I'll just take the attack with the flyer. So I have the better on-board position, but my opponent has, like, more cards in hand. They get value with Seagate Oracle here. Hard to say who's actually winning here. I'm scared, though. Like, opponent has 5 cards. They can get their own Monarch stuff going. Okay. That kills one creature. That's fine. This is a Mull Drifter. Okay. That's fine. My offense has stopped, though. So I'll get to drain my opponent for 4 or so. Oh, wow. Okay. That's a hell of a draw. So, don't need to attack here. Yeah, at this point, I'm mostly just hoping to draw, like, a Chittering Rats or something, and then finish my opponent with this Gray Merchant. And I assume you return Ephemerate. Yep. So they're going to try to get their sick Mull Drifter value. Oh, no. Okay, so they're going to blink that, and then they can return Counterspell. Yes. Okay, so I need to try to get them to use that Counterspell. All right. That's fine. Do I just play my Chainer's Edict from Graveyard here? I think I do. And then I try to play Liliana Spectre and Gray Merchant in the same turn. This is a little vulnerable to that Replicate spell. But I think most of the cards that I actually care about are going to be. Okay, so the Counterspell happened. I think I can go ahead and attack in with both of these. Like, I don't need to do much more damage to my opponent to have them die. Like, I think it's worth, like, potentially losing out on some stuff here. Alright, so I assume they're gonna return that. Oh, okay, so this is a bullshit loop, and I hate it. Alright, so they're going to re-ephemerate that, and then this time around, they'll return a counterspell. Sure. Okay. Yeah, so at this point, I will, like, play a Liliana Spectre when I draw a land, have them make me discard a card, and then play a Gray Merchant for lethal. Like, that's my plan. Okay, another Ephemerate. Ugh. Okay. Alright, so there's a land. So here we go. So that's Counterspell. I know my opponent has Ephemerate. So if they cast Ephemerate, they blink this, return Counterspell. How do I get out of this? Shit. Maybe I needed to save that card until they had not enough mana open to do everything. This is awful. This is just like the modern version of, like, getting Cryptic locked. Okay. So Ephemerate goes back. Yeah, I don't know that I can get out of this. Like, they have multiple Ephemerates in hand. I guess I need them to just, like, go ham in casting too many things in one turn. This. Oh. Very neat. I assume they'll gain the life. That puts them out of one Gray Merchant killing them. Yep. Okay, that's what's happening. Yeah, I think unless my opponent makes some major blunder, they've got this locked up now. That's 2 different cards that can more or less instantly lethal my opponent. Not quite with Crypt Rats, but I'd have to untap with it. Yeah, okay. I think I'm just going to chill here for a while. Try to do one turn that gets through everything that my opponent is doing. I can also draw, like, instant speed removal and try to stop an Ephemerate that way. But if I only end up taking 2 a turn, this isn't bad. Like, in terms of, like, my time to draw towards outs. Okay, what is this mid-combat? Do you have a ninja? Oh, okay. I think they did not realize that they were still in combat. Okay. Let's cast this and see if my opponent wants to do anything about it. They do. Yes, they can. Now they just, like... Alright. I think this is far enough gone that I'm comfortable conceding here. Like, my opponent has very clear control of the game. GG's. Okay, just real quick, reflecting on how that last game went, now that I know about that ephemerate loop, I feel like I needed my spell bombs from the sideboard. Oh my god, 2 no landers in a row. Absolutely cursed. Also, like, should you be, like, here? You look better here. Okay. Yeah, like, this is super fucking awkward. Keep. I'm not ready for a Gray Merchant. I need everything that's left here, really. I think I have to discard the discard spell, unfortunately. I think I need the value that Augur of Skulls provides, and this lets me play my Witch's Cottage tapped on turn 1. What is this? Okay, it's an tapped Snowland. Okay. I'll play my own tapped land. So that's blue-black. I think there's like a fairies deck that is blue-black. So I'm going to kind of operate that we might be doing something along the general lines of like fairies and ninjas until I discover otherwise. Okay. Let's play this little skeleton wizard and see if my opponent does anything about it, or if I get a 2-for-1. I'm honestly still fine with it 1-for-1ing and eating up some of my opponent's mana so they don't deploy anything cool. Okay, that was no shuffle with that Bonder. Oh, that's super neat, Augur of Bolas art. Okay. So I will go ahead and take the 2-for-1 here. I have to like kind of figure out what my opponent is doing, because I don't really know yet. Ah, big fish. Big fish is what they're doing. Alright, so either way I'm playing a 2-2. I think I don't want them to get deeper in their deck currently. So I'm just going to go ahead and play Chittering Rats. So something I learned about playing these sorts of decks previously is that Phyrexian Rager's trigger is good at any portion of the game, but Chittering Rats' trigger has an expiration date, right? Like, once you're both Hellbent and you're playing the top card of your library every turn, Chittering Rats' trigger doesn't really do anything. Okay, that's a big fish. I have a Death Toucher in hand. That last card, a counterspell? I think I'm willing to take 5 to play around that last card being a counterspell. I am a fucking genius. Unprecedented Magic player of greatness. I'll sign autographs in the comments, don't worry. Oh my gosh. It just makes sense, right? Like, Gurmag Angler is such an absolutely insane card. Like, what would my opponent keep over a Gurmag Angler? It's a counterspell to back up this first Gurmag Angler. Alright. I do not want to Witch's Cottage an Augur of Skulls. I don't think so. I'm going to play this. If it gets countered, I will Witch's Cottage that back. Got scared for a second there. Everything's fine. Alright, I'm the Monarch. Let's play a Swamp. That Defile card would be super sick. Chainer's Edict is almost what I want. Oh, wow, just a straight-up concession there. Okay, we got super lucky. We mulled to 5. Alright, so it seems like my opponent is playing blue-black Gurmag Angler with counterspell backup. What do I want to deal with that? I want this. Give me a new column. Alright, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. These are okay. These are okay. It's reasonable to assume that my opponent might be playing something like Muldrifter as well. How do I feel about my discard? My discard fuels faster Gurmag Anglers, which is awkward for me. I'm not super great at answering those. I have Defiles, I have Edicts, which aren't always going to work. I have Crypt Rats, which ow. I have Pestilence, ow. I have Thorns for Death Touch. Maybe I need this Ashes to Ashes too. Alright. I'm gonna have to make some cuts somewhere. Maybe it's this stuff. So that gets me like you as replacement finishers. And now I have to make my decision about what I want to do regarding the discard. The discard's super good at making sure my critical stuff resolves. But if my opponent like powers out faster Gurmag Anglers, it's awkward for me. Maybe I go down on Cry of Contrition and keep Augur of Skulls because it's a regenerator for Gurmag Angler. That can get 4 cards in here. Unsure if I actually want spell bombs. Because Pauper's a slow enough format where my opponent can just like pay 5 mana and exile 2 cards or something like that to play a Gurmag Angler reasonably. Perfect mana. If I hit land drops, well, specifically land drop. If I hit 1 land drop, I think this hand is very good. Like, the Bonder's Ornament just as a mana rock is totally fine. Land drop. Okay. Apt Witch's Cottage here. Apt Bojuka Bog next turn. Into Swamp. Yeah, but like, these Witch's Cottages have a real cost. This is like such an anemic Bojuka Bog. This card can do so much in the matchup. And like, this Bojuka Bog is not a swamp, making my Defile worse. Livy. Ooh. All creatures get -1, -1. Or no, sorry. Creatures your opponents control. Okay, I did board in a few X1s, though. Alright, am I just jamming Bonder's Ornament into Counterspell this turn? No... maybe? I really need more mana. I really don't want this to get countered. I don't play the Augur Skulls this turn. It probably only 1-for-1s. But I think that's fine on current board. The reason not to play this is that it's okay, like, you play around Counterspell or you play around Suffocating Fumes. Don't really get to do both there. Alright. I'm going to continue to play around Counterspell. I think this card is just incredibly good. So I'm going to try to get this card counterspelled instead. Ooh. Did not get counterspelled. Sure, yeah. Cantrip away. I only have 3 swamps right now, so these defiles aren't in, like, I get to kill Gurmag Angler range yet. My opponent also just has a bunch of cards. I'm not, like, super stoked about going and just playing this out on a naked board because of, like, flash creatures that might come in end of turn. And I think I just want to kill this immediately so that I don't have to worry. If I'm going to go for the Monarch immediately, I need to fire this off. It becomes awkward because then, like, Gurmag Angler becomes a thing. And if my opponent can answer this, it becomes super weird for me. Alright. Do you have Mr. Anglerfish? Do. Okay. I have a very awkward 5 mana this turn. I don't think I can just go and play Thorn of the Black Rose immediately. I think I'm going to play something that demands an answer. Like, either this requires my opponent to use a removal spell on it, or it requires Gurmag Angler to stay back. So I think I try to make a sub-game about this when the actual game is going to be about this card. That's my plan. Ooh, okay. Message received. Alright. So this card is not getting in here. Now, this awkward game begins. We're gonna stare at each other for a little while. Oh, beautiful. This is only -4/-4 right now, though. This Regenerator, though, is very good on this board. Okay, that's a cast down. Oh, the attack with both creatures is really good for my opponent. Really, really good. Oh, Echoing Truth. Rough. Ooh, they're thinking about whether or not they want to get Mind Rotted. Okay, so I can jump block and protect my Monarch status. Or I can let them have a card. Defile their Death Toucher. Yeah, I think I let them have a card. Alright, yeah, you can have the Monarch. 3, 4... Alright, so I have 6 total mana. I'm going to get that out of the way. I'm going to retake the Monarch. Healing 3. Get my Mind Rot. Getting Dispel and a land. And now I think I'm just going to go ahead and just play Augur of Souls with the intention of regenerating it against the Gurmag Angler. Yeah, alright. So they attack in. I block. I regenerate. And I maintain my Monarch status. Yeah. That's fine. Ooh, okay. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana this turn. So I will go ahead and sign in blood myself to start things off. Looking for just more removal spells here. Nice. So I just Edict. I think I just Edict and leave up a regeneration shield. Chittering Rats first. No. I want to leave up the regeneration shield. Alright, so the ninja's down. Do I want to leave back Okiba Gang Shinobi, or do I want to make my opponent discard that card? I think I want to leave back the Shinobi. Really awkward if this last card is a fairy, though, and I don't make that attack. Damn it! Yeah, because then now, like, the Chainer's Edict flashback is worse. Yup. Alright, you're the Monarch. Now, counterspells start to look really good for my opponent. Ugh, don't want this many augurs. Alright, let's see if this works. Okay, it resolved. Don't think it's worth taking 5 here to try and take the Monarch back. Ooh. Yeah. I'm unsure if I'm more likely to die to combat damage first or being drowned in cards first. Like 3 Gurmag Angler hits kills me. It also kind of depends on how aggressively my opponent is going to play with that Gurmag Angler. Yeah. So they're gonna sit and try to accrue cards. That's very good. I think I play a Grey Merchant as my bait, and then try to make Chainer's Edict the thing that actually matters this turn. Okay, it resolved. So that's good. Now at this point, if this doesn't work, I'll just try again next turn. Yeah. Alright. I think opponent played that one well. Yeah. So I can flashback Chainer's Edict and attempt to take out the Gurmag Angler that way next turn. It becomes pretty bad if my opponent just has a... Oh. Okay. So they're just chilling. Multiple Gurmag Anglers is scary. Oh my god. Oh my god. Please don't have a counterspell. Please don't have a counterspell. Play Chittering Rats first. I guess I'll play Chittering Rats first. Alright, so there's Chittering Rats. Alright, so something goes back on top of their library. And then I play the ultimate Haymaker. Will it resolve? Please don't have it. Please don't have it. Please don't have it. Well, well, well. Okay. Pretty happy with how I navigated that one to like end up in a spot where like I was able to just get through and win. I wonder on my opponent's side if they could have won this one by just like staying aggressive with the Gurmag Angler, because I wasn't super good against just like eating 3 Gurmag Angler hits to the face. Yeah, would have been interesting to have seen the matchup from their side of the battlefield. Like protecting the Monarch is super important, but sometimes you just have to like get in there and go aggro. This format's awesome. All right, so we're again running into the Witch's Cottage problem where I'm not going to be able to curve out the way that I want to. So I'm potentially going to miss out on playing a turn 1 Cry of Contrition. I guess that's fine. I think the rest of the hand looks pretty good. Like I have removal, I have card advantage, I have a lot of discard. Okay. All right. So now it's actually Affinity time. Could Cry of Contrition now. I think I'm just going to play this tapped, though. I think curving out and being able to play some of my Haymakers later is more important. And if I don't draw that last swamp to make this enter untapped, it's just so incredibly awkward. Yeah, that's fine. Ooh, some endgame. I am not sure that I am just going to immediately use this Augur of Skulls as a mind rot. Because I can, like, double Cry of Contrition on it and turn it into a discard 4 another turn down the line. Which is pretty sick. Just for those of you new to watching Pauper, this Deadly Dispute card is absolutely disgusting. Just, like, functionally, like, having more copies of, Thoughtcast. I'm gonna take my 1 damage, and then we'll start doing this. And now this Cry of Contrition, like, combo situation is pretty sick. Alright, so there goes a seat. I want this card. Force another discard. Alright, there goes another land. And then I have a discard 4 on my next turn, which is gas. Yeah. I mean, I have a Chainer's Edict for that. That's the situation that I didn't want to occur. We'll see how bad this turn looks. Opponent can go ham. Alright. So I do... really only a discard 2. Worth? Question mark? I think it's still worth. Oh, it makes the timing quite awkward. Like, the Regenerator's cool for this Mirror Enforcer, but, like, I can't let my opponent put anything else in play here. Alright. I got rid of a Deadly Dispute. I didn't get my, like, full value, so to speak. Alright. So my opponent has 1 card just kind of chilling here via Chromatic Star. Okay. The Disciple is gone. So, okay. See how much I end up taking this turn. The Atog can go wild here if they want. Just a question of, like, how safe do they feel, and, like, what is the ratio of, like, damage they want versus number of artifacts they have in play they want. Alright, I take 9. Okay. Okay. Oh, fuck, they drew Fling. Alright, well, I don't have anything, so, like, I'll F6, and you can Fling me, kill me. Yep, so that's more than enough. And there it is. Confirm. Yes, it was Fling that killed me. Alright, so I do not have just answers to artifacts, just, like, full stop. I think kind of like we saw that game, if I can get most or all of this, like, raw discard out, I probably want to. Augur at least is a regenerating creature. Goemba's Witches can be okay versus an Atog, I guess. Wait, is an Atog an X1 or an X2? I don't actually know its base stats. 1, 2. It still picks off Disciple of the Vaults, though, which is, like, important. This is an Edict. This hits non-artifact creatures. I probably won't play that. The 5 life is also rough. I'll probably do this. How do I feel about the Monarch? It's also just a Death Toucher at the end of the day. That's fine. Flyers are okay. I can consider these as well. How do I feel about the Okiba Gang Shinobi? Recycling Great Merchant triggers is pretty sick. Is that better than a Spectre? Spectre flies. It'd be nice in some board stalls. I wish I had more instant speed removal. Alright, one Spectre or 1 Okiba Gang Shinobi. I think I'll play 1 Spectre. Yeah, no, one land, no good. This is a 2-lander, so I probably keep it. But I am straight up going to die if I don't hit my 3rd land drop. I don't think it's worth going to 5. But I think this matchup is hard, and I think this hand is not great. But I think going lower than this is risky. I'll go ahead and keep kind of one of each one of my different threats here. I think the Rager is important for me to, like, work towards hitting future land drops for stuff like this. The Rager has a lower devotion count, but helps me to work towards the 5th mana. I am so very dead if I don't hit a land drop or maybe a Sign in Blood here. Yeah, and, like, okay, I did hit a land drop. I don't think I can fuck around with leaving that thing on the board. I also don't think I want to mess around with, like, trying to get my opponent to sacrifice some things. I just want that thing dead. Then I can start, like, using Rager and Chittering Rats and Liliana Specters to, like, build up a mid-game board. The Thoughtcasts and stuff are live now. My opponent's card advantage is cheaper than mine. Alright. Let's start by building my devotion up. So, like, I kind of want to play the Rager. But, again, the Chittering Rats and Liliana Specters triggers have, like, a lifetime. Like, they eventually become worse. Whereas the Rager trigger is always good. We're also just getting to the point where some, like, random 4/4s can start coming into play. Alright, no threats yet. I'll take my 2 damage. And then I'm going to sign in blood and really, really hope to hit a land. I need to keep building this board. Okay, I did hit a land. Because I have multiple gray merchants, I'm just going to play the thing that has the greatest number of black pips here. And, like, we'll see what my opponent discards. Then I can attack for 4, drain for 6, attack for 6, drain for 8. I didn't actually add those numbers together, but that feels like lethal without actually doing the math. Yeah, I mean, okay, so this is going to be the 2 black mana, sacrifice the Sicker while spraying, draw some cards thing. Or at least that's what they're representing the mana for. Seems like yes, we're waiting to pay costs. Oh no, it's not. Okay, that's great. Okay, sure. Feel like I've just kind of lucked out thus far. But like, I could be a turn away from just like getting fling killed at any point. I'll take my damage in the air. Alright. So, I drain for 6, my opponent's at 10. And then I can drain for 8 and attack for 2 in the air. So this is theoretical lethal next turn. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10. It gets disrupted by any number of things, or I could just like die to like fling, I guess. Okay, there's black. Alright, so now we're gonna see one of those artifact draw twos. Okay, there it is. Definitely a little nervous. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 18, 19. Oh, I'm not actually dead to fling, am I? Oh, that's super annoying though. That keeps my opponent from just being stone cold dead to free merchant next turn. Ooh. Yeah, I will take that hit. I need to keep my devotion count high. Ooh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, kind of 10. So really 9. I think it's better for me to just play the Chainer's Edict here, like a Rager. There's also a world where like I can hit a land drop and be better prepared to do multiple spells. Yeah. Alright, so I'll Chainer's Edict. My opponent probably sacks their 4/4. Yeah. Alright, and I'll pass the turn here. The next turn, I can trade for 2, 4, 6, 7. And then if I can get 2 of these creatures in, that rounds things out. Okay. I don't know. Yeah, target attacks, I probably have to chump block, right? Uh, is insane, absolutely insane levels of value. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, so I don't think I'm gonna. Oh god. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 artifacts. Yikes. Okay, yeah, I mean your duress doesn't do anything. But now you have perfect information. I think I'm gonna be just out of range of actually killing my opponent next turn with a gray merchant. Whereas my opponent can damn near kill me right now, not counting like the Atog in combat at all. The Mirror Enforcer is also, while not an issue, it's just like another thing that I need to like be cognizant of and potentially chump block. I'll just throw the Rager in front of the bus. My opponent will have to sacrifice 1 artifact. They can just junk their star though, like it's not that big of a deal. Alright. Ojuka Bog, not great here. It's keeping me from flashing back Chainer's Edict. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. My opponent can just drain for 10 currently. I think I need to try and dig here. Unearth. I mean, I'll go for it. This is a way that I can potentially build up enough devotion to go for a win next turn with this Gray Merchant that's currently in my hand. Alright. Bojuka Bog, you. But I don't think this got me to where I need to be. I kind of expect to just die. Like, a removal spell to deal with something here was pretty darn important. Okay, that's just another artifact. Yeah. Alright, I'm F6'd. Whatever happens, happens. I expect that I'm dead without the combat step being involved. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah. My opponent does not need to have very many more artifacts in order to just kill me. Oh, okay, yeah. So that means that each one of these is going to trigger. Oh, okay. All right. Fine. Like, uh, okay. I'm just gonna go ahead and pack in the towel there. That beats us. But like I said in the intro, I did not expect to beat Affinity. It was more competitive than I thought it was going to be, but rough. All right. Final round opening hand really needs another land. That's been a common thing throughout this league. Because I'm somewhat likely to miss a land drop, do I just play Cry of Contrition later? Unsure. It slows down this hand just so incredibly much to like go for the Cry of Contrition combo. Okay, so we're potentially playing against some sort of aggro deck. Okay, whenever another red creature enters your battlefield, it gets bigger. Okay, cool. All right, I'm hitting my land drops. That's great. I might just trade Augur of Skulls for this creature and just treat it as a removal spell rather than try to get 2 cards out of it. I think, okay, well, I don't even have the choice. Yeah, I think okay, I'm going to get to lock my opponent from drawing more lands here. I think as this game goes longer, I am just going to be more and more favored because I have so many, like, 2-power ETB creatures that are just going to brick wall smaller threats like these. What does this do? Okay. When it enters the battlefield, target creature can't be blocked this turn. Okay, +1/+1 and has haste, sure. But that's a 1-turn thing, right? Target creature can't block this turn. Okay, sure. Do I need to hold up mana to remove that? I feel like no. I think I just want to keep my opponent kind of locked down here and just keep them from getting land. Unsure if I'm supposed to make this attack or not. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I do need to reduce my opponent's life total to 0. I think I'm going to take that attack. Like, if they spend their entire turn using a removal spell on Chittering Rats and then inflicting 2 damage on me, I think I'm okay with that. And what does this do? Whenever this attacks, you can pay 1. Dude, target creature can't block this turn. That's fine. Yeah, like, I'll absolutely make trades here. Ooh, that's good. All right, so I'll try to hit my land drops. Would it be fine if they spent 1 mana to deal 1 damage? Yes, absolutely. So I will make my attack. My life total's lower, but I'm definitely inflicting damage faster than my opponent now. Okay, whenever it attacks, it deals 1 damage to the player or planeswalker it's attacking. Sure. Let's take a 2 for 1 here. Just play Crypt Rats for 1, bash in for 4. I think so. There's 1 mana. Okay, yeah, opponent is fucking done with me. Yeah, all I need to do is make it to Grey Merchant mana, or like Thorn of the Black Rose mana, and I am absolutely going to win. Alright, this helps me get there. These are insane. This is slow removal, but it's removal. Alright, so I have 10 cards that I can consider boarding in. Alright, I think I'm fine with boarding these things out since they also just deal damage to me. I also don't think I need this discard. Augur of Skulls is medium. So let's get the Cram Sessions and Kulimbaj Witches in first. Then I think I'll pick up this, followed by this. Let's sort by CMC now. Oh, that's a lot of cards. Okay. How do I feel about Unearth? It's pretty good value. Do I need Sign in Bloods? Like, is the damage that is done to me better or worse than me just having another creature in hand? Maybe worse. It helps me hit land drop 3, which is super important, but I think I just have to keep a hand that has 3 lands in a lot of cases. I think as long as I start getting to this stuff, I just win. I don't mind the Thorn of the Black Rose. Like, it's great card advantage, and I cut a little bit of my card advantage. But I also just don't mind Augur of Skulls as a 2 mana. Like, I will block your shit. I'm gonna keep this. I really need 3 lands, but I'm on the draw, and I have a Defile for my opponent's first creature. Alright, whenever you cast a spell that targets it, make a creature. I should just kill this immediately. Goodbye. Note, heroic is whenever you target, so, like, me targeting it does not matter. Okay, sure. Sure. Okay. That's a neat one. I've forgotten about that. Okay, so I need to play a tapped land this turn. Again, every time I draw this Bojuka Bog and Witch's Cottage at the same time, it's just so incredibly awkward for me. This one at least can potentially enter untapped later, so I guess I will just bog my opponent. I'm also going to click on a card here like I'm paying for costs, and then just not make my opponent just ever so less likely to play an enchantment on one of these. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so they've got haste on that this turn. That's fine. I only take 4. Okay, well, I guess it's technically 5, right? The Frenzied Goblin keeping my creatures from blocking is going to be a little bit annoying. Oh, wow, they just immediately sacrificed it for the Lightning Bolt worth of damage. Alright, I make my land drop, and I will just play the things that increase my devotion count the most. Because I'm going to play this Grey Merchant, and then hope that that instantly kills my opponent. Well, okay, it doesn't, like, literally instantly kill them, right? Like, Dragon Mantle, is that the fire-breathing one? That is the fire-breathing one, sure. Okay. So, I'll take another 4 this turn. That's not great. How do I feel about playing Thorn of the Black Rose versus, like, Phyrexian Rager here? So, which of these is more annoying? The not blocking is pretty good. The fire breathing is also really annoying, though. This just represents more damage. So I guess I will Oubliette the thing that represents more immediate damage. Goodbye. And then next turn, I can play a Grey Merchant, gain 4. This is interesting visually. I go down to 6. It could technically die to, like, a double Lightning Bolt here. Alright, nice. Alright. Witch's Cottage. I will not put that on top of my library. I just want to draw more copies of Grey Merchant. Lightning Bolt me, sure. Okay, like, I think I was F6'd. That was 100% safe before. I don't think you need to slow roll that. But okay. Do I want to sign in blood at all? Maybe I just want more bodies. I can do something like that where I bring in a Nokiba Gang Shinobi just as, like, literally another creature. That doesn't help me get out of the early game, though. Play a Cry of Contrition. Yeah, maybe play one of those. They're not great. They're better on the play. Yeah, let's try this. This is fine. I've got 2 turns to hit a land drop to start, like, curving out, but I have a removal spell and a very respectable blocker / pinger for this matchup. So I think I'm okay with where I'm at. I also will have approximately a billion devotion if I actually make it to Grey Merchant before this game is over, either because my opponent concedes or because I'm dead. Yeah, that's fine. And, ooh, Augur? Play Augur first to better play around Lightning Bolt. No, I think I just need to, like, try and get this active. Like, it's just so incredibly good if it does get active. Like, it just kills so many things in my opponent's deck. Yeah, I don't mind that I take 2 here. I miss this land drop, but I'll just kill this creature. And then I just need to hit some lands. I've got Augur for if I don't, so it's not the end of the world if I don't. Yeah, too many Witches' Cottages. Just have we hit home that point? Like, it's a fine card. 4 is too many. Get some of those out, please. If my opponent enchantments this thing up, I just get to, like, Oubliette it and get my value. It's a little annoying. Okay, it's just another one, sure. Yeah, I will absolutely just trade 1 for 1 here. Totally good with that. Okay. Oubliette or Rats? If I was removing both of my opponent's creatures, I think I would just play Sorry, if I was making it so they only had 1 Akroan, if they had 0 Akroan Crusaders in play, I would just play the Oubliette. But because I leave them with 1 either way, I kind of end up in this awkward spot where it, like, they've got me either way. Sure, that's fine. Okay. Alright, so I was not able to block that turn because of this. Alright, keep playing Rats. Like, since they're always going to have something that they can put these on. And neither one of these is overly dangerous right now. I think I'll just keep playing rats and kind of like deny my opponent getting deeper. I don't need too much to stabilize here, but I do need a little bit more than what I have right now. Yep, okay. So, do I want to kill the tokens or do I want to take these things out? I think I need to block the one with fire breathing. Maybe that's not true. Let's try to extract maximum values from my creatures, because if I leave these things alive, then this is going to, like, get me back the life that I ended up losing in the first place. Okay. So they just had a lightning bolt for one of these. That's fine. Okay. Missing my land drops is rough here. The Edict's not good right now. The Oubliette is. Let's play this. This one at least makes them sink mana into it, but if they have a removal spell, it's much better for me to kill this than this. I think I'm going to go ahead and just respect the fire breathing. Fire breathing is real good in limited. Alright. Everybody's coming in. I think I just have to block that. Take the 3, make it so that they can't lightning bolt me with that. Okay. I'm always playing 1 Augur of Skulls. Do I just play 2 Augur of Skulls? Probably. Just work towards my devotion count being as high as possible. Although, honestly, I think that, like, as soon as I play this, the game spins. Things are already tilting in my favor. Okay, my opponent has stopped attacking. That's great. Alright. I play Witch's Cottage. Do I want to actually return any of that stuff? No, I just want to draw more removal. So I'll just go ahead and say no to that. I will play my Grey Merchant. Yeah, that's the concession point right there. What was that, like 2, 4? It was like 6 or 7 life that I was going to gain right there. Alright, overall thoughts on the deck list. I would like to cut probably the Bojuka Bog and the Witch's Cottage just for, like, another swamp. Every time I ran into, like, a Bojuka Bog plus a swamp, it was just super awkward. Like, Witch's Cottage to recycle some of your cards is, like, nice selection in a deck that doesn't have a ton of selection, but, like, I think it's just a little bit too greedy. Like, the impact that it was having on my sequencing was very noticeable. Like, especially with, like, Cry of Contrition. Like, I get that, like, Cry of Contrition is not something that you are always going to just cast on turn 1. And, like, sometimes waiting to combo it off with Augur of Souls is nice. But, I don't know. On that note, the Cry of Contrition portion of the deck doesn't feel super good. Like, you just have your opponent discard their worst card. Like, I'm very happy with the whole, like, Sign in Blood, Phyrexian Rager, Chittering Rats, Grey Merchant stuff. But I don't necessarily know if, like, Augur of Skulls and Cry of Contrition is really where it's at. I also wonder if this deck should be playing a 23rd land, because every time I missed a land drop and I didn't hit land 3, it's just so incredibly noticeable. But I don't know, like, the land counts well enough in this format to know whether or not that is correct. I feel like if you want to make the Augur of Skulls better, you do need a couple more copies of Unearth than what this deck is playing. As far as the sideboard goes, I would say I'm happy enough with the sideboard, but there's probably room for improvement. The Bonder's Ornament, for example, I think is something that can be really good in these long grindy matchups, but you have to hit your 3rd land drop anyway to play it for it to function as a mana rock, and you have so many 3-drops that it's, like, kind of awkward tapping out for that. I really like the Ashes to Ashes. Like, just having one more thing that answered Gurmag Angler was pretty good. But there's also a black removal spell that just, like, destroys target non-legendary creature, I think, or something like that, that I think would be pretty good in this deck that I don't see present here. Because I'm a little light on removal for times when my opponents have something that is protected from an edict. All right, folks, if you enjoyed, throw me a comment on your way out. Let me know what you think. Haven't played too much Mono Black lately, so let me know how you think this compares to other Mono Black versions that are running around like the one you saw in the video today. Have a great rest of the day, folks. See ya!